Hello, welcome to another reading video. I changed my angle a little bit, got a new little stand instead of having to use my regular tripod. Anyhow, let's go with the first book, Firestorm #1. I like his look the very first time I laid my eyes on him back in the early 80s. The first time I saw him, the name, the look remind me of Fire Lord over the Marvel side. But my only complaint about his look is the puffy sleeve that he has. It reminds me of a pirate shirt. That's the only part that I didn't like. As far as the color, the rest of the looks, I like it. I give it a 3.5. I wouldn't give him a 4 out of 5 as far as look and power if they didn't give him the puffy sleeves. As far as the art, they have decent art inside, and then I'm gonna take this out of the bag, and then the origin is okay, nothing original really in my opinion. You have an explosion, and then he survived the explosion, and then he have the power. I like the way the book explained his power in fairly detail right away, so you have an understanding of what his abilities were. So as far as the story, I give it a 3 out of 5. It's Klaus Jensen is the inker of this book, and Al Milgrom is the artist. Al Milgrom is one of those artists that I don't think a lot of people is a big fan of his style, but I think for this book particularly, I didn't mind it. Perhaps the team up with Klaus Jensen was okay. Just look at the splash page. That's pretty cool looking. But overall, I give this book a 6.5. A 3.5 for his power, appearances, and looks, and then 3 for the story. Next up is a tough one to rate. I will give a closer look of this book in another video when I showcase Marie Severin. But you have The Living Tribunal. I brought out both 157 and 158 because on 157 he showed up on the last page, full appearances on the last page. But as far as the story, it continued and concluded in 158. Okay, The Living Tribunal is a tough character to rate because when you have a character that is so powerful that can literally destroy the earth like that, it's kind of limited his appearances as well as the storyline that can be written for him. So in that, I think that's a problem with creating a character that is so powerful. As far as look, I think his look is fairly bizarre, strange, and the story itself is also, I find average because, like I said, when you have somebody that is that powerful, even Doctor Strange is really not a match. Like I said, I will show this book more when it's showcase Marie Severin, but I just want to show the last page of 157 where he show up. As you can see, he had the strange looking 3-face detached head and a body. I give him, as far as look, power, appearances, all that, it's a tough one. A 2.5. Okay, and the story I also give a 2.5. So overall you have a 5 out of 10. It's an average story, average look, average appearances. More so because when you have someone that powerful, it's kind of tough to write any kind of story. Galactus is pretty powerful, but I find that the stories that was written for Galactus was always, for the most part, more interesting. And of course, Galactus looked a heck of a lot better than somebody like the Living Tribunal. But I give it a 5, and it has nothing to do with Maurice Severin. If the book was rating on the art itself, I give it a 5 out of 5 because I think the art inside is fantastic. I can't wait to do a video on Marie Severin because it's fantastic. Last but not least, Tale of Suspense 94. It's my beautiful copy. I took it out of the bag before I do the video because I had to reread it, and I will give you a close-up look at the end. But here you go. The first time I look at this book, in all honesty, I didn't see MODOK. They squeeze him in right here on the bottom. The first few times I look at this cover, I was so focused on Captain America and other things on the page that I've completely missed MODOK. And voila, there he is on the cover. MODOK look is extremely interesting. Definitely one of Kirby wacky creation with a huge head, small body. I give his look a 4 out of 5. I thought his name, MODOK, is cool. I think later they I like the acronym that later attached to the name. What was it? Machine design only for killing, something like that. I can't remember. I saw it years ago, but I thought that was funny how they use those words to put together as the acronym for his name. But the look I give a 4 out of 5, and then the story I give a 3.5 out of 5. It's always hard to rate the stories of books from Tale of Suspense or Tales to Astonish because they tend to be very short and span over multiple issues. So in all fairness, you almost have to rate the stories of this book along with issue 93, where the story started before Captain America was captured by AIM, and then MODOK make his appearances. And MODOK origin is fairly neat. How he was created by AIM. Once again, another acronym that I can't ever seem to remember. AIM, Artificial Intelligent. I'm not sure what the M stands for. But AIM created him, but then he got to be too powerful, so they actually tried to get rid of him, and they actually helped Captain America free from captivity in order to defeat MODOK. But MODOK survived at the end of the book. So overall, I thought it was a pretty cool, interesting story. I gave it 3.5. I gave MODOK appearances, look, and power a 4. So the book got a 7.5 out of 10. And that's it. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, so here's a close-up look of the book. Beautifully centered book. I love this copy. It's gorgeous, perfectly centered, razor sharp edge and corner. Probably at least a 9.4. There's a few nicks on the spine, barely visible, as you can see. Gorgeous. And then the first part of the book, of course, is beautiful artwork by Gene Colan for Iron Man. And Dan Atkin is anchor for this one, and pretty decent. Occasionally Dan Atkins have trouble inking Gene Colan. If you watch my earlier one of my early video on Gene Colan, I show a book with a Daredevil book where Dan Atkins, a fairly talented artist himself, ink the Daredevil book with Gene Colan. And I didn't think the result was very good, but because their style are vastly different. But in this book, as you can see, gorgeous. Let's look at that. This book for sure, the way Dan Atkin ink, almost like a Tom Palmer style, where he finally got into the groove of knowing when to use all the little lines that Gene drew and when not to. And the result is actually quite good, if not very good in my opinion. So let's go real quickly. As you can see, beautiful, good stuff, great stuff. Okay, here we go. If this be MODOK, great Kirby and Joe Sinat, wonderful stuff. Let's go right to, there we go. Here's the first time MODOK show up. Let's look at him. That's crazy. From the imagination of Jack himself. Look at that. That's one crazy looking mofo, right? Pretty cool. A fun story, as I mentioned, and I think if you're a Kirby fan, definitely well worth picking up, regardless if this book is gonna be hot because of the character's gonna be in a movie or not. I don't care. I just think that it's a book that if you're a Kirby fan, you would love to have it. There you go. That's it. That's the first appearances of MODOK.